Hey everybody, it's Alanna Kaivalya here. So sorry for being a few minutes late. That is totally my fault. And I have to be honest that Aaron and I were just on a call. We were chatting about everything we want to show you today. And we lost track of time. So we're here. We're excited to be hanging out with you. Let me just bounce around a little bit, make sure all of our ducks are in a row. Um, and yeah, we are going to talk to you about memberships today. But first things first, want to check in with all of our people. How are you? How are things going? It's great to have you here. Welcome, Aaron. Let me get our live stream going here real quick. Boop doop live. So, Aaron, it's my fault we're late.
Thank you for admitting that.
You're welcome. Everybody, you heard it here first. I feel like Zoom should make it easier to live stream, you know?
You would think
You would think, right?
a multi quadzillion dollar company
Yeah, would have figured that out.
would make things a lot easier for
And
their
here I
viewers.
am. We're on our broadcast. I'm having to click all sorts of buttons in the background just to make it happen. I feel like it should be a one click and go, you know? Also, can we talk about how did Skype lose their lead? Right? Skype was out it was out
Yeah.
way before Zoom, and then the pandemic hit, and then suddenly it's
Mhm.
all about Zoom. And where is Skype?
That would be an interesting rabbit hole to jump down. And I bet somewhere there's a video on YouTube, but I think there's probably some lessons to be learned uh,
Definitely.
there. I have a suspicion, but this could just be me because I don't do well with Microsoft programs. When they got bought out by Microsoft, and like you had to have like a Microsoft account
Oh, I
to use
wonder.
it.
Yeah,
Um, I know that just made it me have to jump through a bunch of hoops in order
we don't
to.
like oops.
And
So, in
yeah,
fact, real,
I was loving Skype for years before
I
that.
know. By the way, we are live on YouTube now, so maybe let's just do a really quick reintroduction. My name is Alanna Kaivalya, and you are?
Oh, are you talking to the camera or you're talking to me?
I'm talking to everybody live with us right
Oh,
now.
hi.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm Aaron Paul and I do stuff.
All right, yay, we're official. So we are broadcasting live on YouTube. We're super excited to be here with you guys. Aaron and I have come together to create the Satisfied Success Business Academy, which is a membership that, as part of the membership, you get the high level platform with us. And we provide, well, Aaron specifically provides all of the tech genius, and I provide all of the strategy and business coaching for women who want to build a feminine, in flow, sovereign business for themselves. And one of the things that one of the reasons why we're late is because Aaron and I were having brilliant conversation, chatting, while I was picking my outfit. By the way, guys, She-Ra Princess of Power, the original 80s version. You are welcome. About how women got to stop trading time for money and about how exactly what we do in our Satisfied Success Business Academy and on our system helps women do that. And one of the things that we're seeing is that so many of our members joining our system and our membership right now, our platform, they're people like therapists or counselors who basically are stuck in a cycle of trading time for money, and that's got to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think course creators fall into that as well because you get into this rhythm and mindset that okay, if I just keep creating new courses, I gotta have something new to sell, or you just keep trying to sell
Yes.
the courses over and over and over again.
Oh my
And the
God.
problem that they always have is there is no consistency. There's
Correct.
no reliability in your business when every day you have to make a new sale.
Yeah.
And if you have a fantastic month this month, and let's say you sell a shitload of courses, you start from zero the very next month.
Yeah. I will reflect that and say, Erin, you are absolutely right. When I built my first business back in 2015, when we were all still using Skype, before these systems existed, before our system, our high level system existed, I would have to patch things in with duct tape and baling wire. I was holding all the strings myself. And this was really before things like online memberships gained traction or took off. So the only way to have an online business was through online courses. And so I would have a launch, make some money, and then I had no marketing or efforts, evergreen systems to keep that money rolling in. And so
Right.
out of panic, out of sheer panic, I'm not kidding you, I literally had a launch every single month for 13 months straight. Every
Mhm.
single month I'd pull up and go, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to make any money. People buy my courses. I guess I'll just make another course. And the intensive labor of both a launch and course creation at the same time, I was so burnt out. I was
Right.
working so much harder than I needed to be. I mean, back then, I'm not sure that I could have really done anything different because we didn't exist back then, Erin, you and I, what we have.
No, yeah,
Um,
yeah, this wasn't an option. Right.
yeah, but it is now. So let's talk to our people about how to get out of that shitty cycle and how to
Mhm.
maybe stop trading time for money in their day jobs. Because if you are only, you know, I do a lot of coaching with women, and one of the things that I know to the core of my soul is that when women have magic, they want to share it. And if you're doing something like therapy or counseling or working where you're trading time for money, you are very limited in how much of your magic you can share and how many people you can share it with. So what we want is something scalable and something a little easier for you to manage so that when you show up to share your magic, it's not just with one person. You can reach multiple people, make a great impact with them. So what's the key, Mr.
Yeah, so okay, so a couple of things that you hit on, and let's try to knock these out one at a time. So, first thing that we haven't really talked about is the community aspect of membership versus courses. So
Yeah,
when your first business, you were selling a course that provided them videos and trainings on how to do this thing that they could just pull up and watch. But what they did not have, or maybe I'm wrong, what was the supportive community? I mean, aside from sending you messages that you have to
yeah.
reply to.
That was the supportive community, me
Right.
slaving away in customer service.
Yeah, yeah. So I think about things like camaraderie,
Yeah,
right? I think about things like having a network, having a support group,
yeah,
not just the teacher, right? That's telling you what to do, but having those people that are standing shoulder with shoulder with you, they're at the same place that you are at, or maybe they're one step behind you, right?
right.
Now you have that community of people that reach out, and maybe you're further along than the new person that comes in and they're asking for help, and you can be that person that supports them in their journey because probably someone supported you as well.
Yep.
And for us, as for those of us who create the membership, right now we have the advantage that our community, they're also our support group for everybody else,
Right,
helping
exactly.
us by helping our community.
It's very meta.
Yes.
Not in
Yeah.
the Facebook way, in the like cognitive way that we're doing the thing that we're teaching other people to do. But it's critical because another real big stopping point I find for the women that I work with, that we work with, is they need that support. And women work best in community. Women work best when they have support. It's very, very difficult. I know from far too much experience how difficult it is to build, maintain, and run a business on your own. When you have a supportive structure, whether it be your family or relationship, when you have the supportive structure of a community like we provide, it's absolutely essential to your success. And I think, pretty special that the community that we provide is literally for you to create something that creates income, impact, sovereignty, allows you to get your
Right.
magic out in the world. And a membership is definitely the way to go. Memberships are everything right now. And
Right.
let's talk about MRR.
Yeah, yeah. And that was the next thing that I wanted to ask you about is like,
Yeah.
okay, when you were selling, I think that like one of your courses, I think your low ticket course back in like 2020 or whatever was something like $299 or something like that.
It was 397.
397. Okay.
Yeah.
So from the um uh prospects perspective, right? Those
Yeah.
who are purchasing the course, would it have been more helpful if they, for a lower cost, could sign up
Yeah.
for the membership, get a lot more, but then less barrier of entry?
Correct. Yeah, because they would have stayed longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
And
fact, it's interesting. I sold that business.
mhm,
She's no longer in yoga. She's just doing this now. We're all about the satisfied women and helping them become more satisfied.
mhm.
I sold that business, and when I sold it, I think I had at that time about a little over 2 dozen courses. A lot of them were certification programs, which was helpful in
Mhm.
terms of their value and being sold. But the person who bought it has since done exactly what you're talking about.
Oh,
Rather
have
than
they?
having people purchase courses, she's opened it up, given people access to all of them, and they just pay like a monthly fee. That was just not something that I could have done 10 years ago, but it's the
Right.
model now. It's literally how people are creating longevity, predictability, reassurance in their businesses.
Yeah, and because so if you had 12 different courses, so you had 12
24.
different or 24, you so there were ascensions, right? So someone might have come in
Yeah.
for this low dollar, lowest ticket course. Now you have to ascend them into those other courses,
Yeah. So
which
much
means you
work.
have to sell again and again. You have to sell to the people that you've already sold to.
Right.
But if you only have to sell once with a membership, you only have to get one buy-in.
Yeah, we're loving memberships, you guys. It's really the way forward. And I learned so many lessons from that first business, things that I'm doing much better with in
Mhm.
my new adventures. Um, because I do love creating businesses, but one of the things that really hit home that, well, actually, that I really hit a wall with was how much effort and how much of my own masculine energy I had to put forward into running a business like that. It led to so much burnout, overwhelm. It got me into the cycles and the traps that I exactly did not want to be on in. I created a business to create more freedom for myself, to create an ease of lifestyle for myself that didn't continuously demand things of me. As a woman, we're saddled with having to do everything for everyone else and ourselves all at the same time with no release valve. And I was hoping that creating my own business that I was in charge of would release that valve. And boy, it just made the pressure cooker all that much worse.
Yeah.
So now I've learned that lesson. And what we've created is a more feminine, well, our venture is
Mhm.
obviously both feminine and masculine. I've outsourced the masculine piece. There you are. Thank God. I've
Mhm.
outsourced the tech. But I help women create more feminine businesses that don't get them into those horrible cycles of overworking, overgiving, overdoing, and continuing to wear that masculine armor that is just so exhausting for us.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think too, I mean, let's kind of zero in. Let's talk about, those who are maybe already on a journey and you talk about therapists, right?
Yeah.
So traditional, right? Like I think about a therapist is okay, someone jumps on a call with them. Or if they're, doing it in person, they're talking to one person. So
Hmm.
it's this talking to one person at a time. That's the other thing that we want to get away from, or
Yeah.
at least uh, make that a higher ticket program. Like if you
Right.
want one on one just with me, that might be, a $2,000, $5,000, $7,000 program.
Yeah.
But as a group, if I can help 50, 100, 200 people at one time solve their problems, now we're not exchanging time for money anymore. We're exchanging experience for a
Yeah.
lot more money. And we're spreading. The whole goal, you're not going to get those one-on-ones unless you first demonstrate that you can help people, right? Demonstrate your value through the group aspect.
Right.
And, some people probably don't even need to leave the group, right? They
It
don't
kind
need
of,
a one-on-one.
yeah, exactly. It kind of builds its own marketing momentum in a certain way. When
Right.
one of the most important pieces of marketing in general, no matter how you're doing it, is building rapport with your audience, building that know, like, and trust factor. And when you
Hmm.
actually show up for your audience, like a membership, people who've, gotten through some sort of barrier to be with you, even if you have a free membership and all they have to do is give you their email, they've
Hmm.
given you a little something. When you show up for them, I mean, I'm coming more and more to realize that showing up, that value in our lives is 95% of what makes life meaningful for us. Like that, the ability to show up for someone, the ability to be present for them, to offer them your time, energy, and presence. When people see that from you in a membership, it builds
Hmm.
that know, like, and trust, and they're automatically going to stay. They're going to
Yeah.
show up more. They're going to see that you are talking right to them. And these are the folks who, gosh, when you say just that one magical thing in the 1 hour, they're going to opt into your high ticket program. So you don't have to go out looking for them. I mean, I had, I had a short-lived attempt at trying to build a high-ticket coaching funnel through Facebook ads, where I created like a webinar and I put ads out to send people to a webinar who'd never really heard me before. They watched the webinar, and then I was hoping that they would opt into a discovery call and then eventually pay me my high-ticket coaching price. It cost $1,000 in Facebook ads just to get a discovery call. And I
There you
can't
go.
tell you how
Hmm.
many of those effing discovery calls I sat on and people didn't show up, or it was the wrong fit, or somebody was basically just
Yeah.
checking to see if I was real. Like, this is not a pathway to anyone's success or satisfaction. But if you do it from within a membership, you're already talking to your core audience, people who know who you are. These are the
Yeah.
people, and you don't have to pay for them. They're paying you in your
Right.
membership. I mean, it's
Yes.
kind of brilliant.
Yeah. And, okay. And you touched on something that I want to address because I get pushback on this more than anything else, and that's having a free membership. I get so many people, and here's how the conversation goes.
Okay.
Well, I'm tired of giving stuff away for free. I don't want to give anything away for free.
Says every woman ever, by the way.
Right, says every business person, right? And I totally get that. But then they're like, well, I don't want to do a free membership. I just want to run ads and send people to my paid membership.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to spend money and have a little opportunity to demonstrate your value and try to sell them something. Whereas you could have a free community that demonstrates that you can help people by actually helping them, giving them a little bit of the magic that you can provide. And that seals the deal. Like you can bring an ocean of people into your free community, and then it's easy to ascend them into your paid because you're helping them a little bit. You're giving them one result, right? You're helping
Right.
them a little bit of the way. And also, too, some of us don't, we want people to be at a certain level before they come into our program.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
I can't work with someone that doesn't know what a funnel is. I can't work with someone who doesn't have, I'm talking about like in my program, like in my one-on-one stuff. Like you have to be at a certain level, right? How do I
Right.
get you there? How do I transcend everybody from, the starting point to where they need to be in order for me to work with them? That's a paid community. That's what that will do. And that will speed up the process. And also, it makes me the person that they rely on,
Right.
right?
Yeah, true. Like, I mean, you definitely that's a really good point. I look, I think I might be one of the people who pushes back on the free membership. Sorry. And not because I don't see the value in it. I also have a free membership for the Satisfied Woman. And,
Mhm.
it is a great opportunity to give people a taster of who you are and what you do so that they make sure that they're in the right place with you.
Mhm.
They make sure that you're speaking to them. It builds that know, like, and trust. So I get it, but
Right.
I think there is a certain level of exhaustion in it for sure, because you don't necessarily know unless you get a really engaged free membership if it's landing. And
Oh yeah.
I have placed a lot of value at this time in my life as the satisfied woman in reciprocity. I think
Yeah.
that people need to have a little skin in the game. So even if it is a low ticket membership, like a
Hmm.
$27 or $47, a little skin in the game makes them
Hmm.
want to show up. They want to get the
Right.
value that they've paid for. If it's free, I find sometimes people don't show up. And I actually learned this lesson when I used to teach yoga teacher training programs in person, like in yoga studios. I would
Hmm.
inevitably scholarship one or two in every program that I did because they wanted the yoga, they wanted to become a teacher. I had compassion for them. I wanted to help them along their path. It was the least I could do. I was running the program anyway. And without fail, the people who got the scholarships for free never completed the teacher training because they didn't
Yeah.
have any
Yeah.
skin in the game. Like
Right.
reciprocity in relationship is critical. Reciprocity in business is critical. If you're training people that your work is free, you're training people that you're not of
Hmm.
value. So there's a little bit of a fine line there. I don't know if you have any thoughts or opinions about that.
Yeah. Actually, this is something that it is a big problem, and
Yeah.
here's a solution that we did for one gal, and this was probably about 6 months ago. Um, Completely adverse to the free community and had all of the objections that you just mentioned.
Right.
But here's the thing: we do want skin in the game.
Yeah.
And we can force them to have skin in the game. And here's how we do it. And this is what we did is we would promote her free group. Hey, come here and learn about this. I don't want to talk about what she did or anything. I don't just
Was
private.
it saucy?
I don't want to. No, I'm not going to say who it
Was
is.
she doing
But
something? Well, I want it to be something
no,
saucy
no, no,
now.
nothing like that. I just
Oh,
mean I
okay.
don't have her permission to like talk about
Got
what
it.
she does or anything.
Fair enough.
But but here's what we did: is we created a wonderful free community. The price of entry was engagement. And the very first thing, the very first course in there was a start here. And basically it said, hey, listen, this is what we provide in this community. And this is a fantastic community for you to learn how to do X and get to the point that you can do Y. But the first step is the price of entry here is to be helpful to everyone else. And it starts with your very first post.
That's a great
State
hack.
who you, what your first name, how you help people or how you intend to help people, and what's your favorite movie, right? Something to like get just to open up your personality and just to talk about yourself a little bit. That was the price of entry for her free community. And what did she get out of it? She got one of the most engaging communities, free communities that I've ever seen
That's awesome.
because she forced the issue. So just create what you want. Like we got to stop thinking that like there's rules and like free membership doesn't mean that the gate's wide open and anybody can come in at any time.
Sure.
You can still gate stuff. You can gate stuff within a free community. You can let them in for free and you can have all of this great stuff that helps them. And then you can also have paid courses that they have to pay to get into.
Well, and inside of, inside of our system like ours,
Mm-hmm.
or inside of these paid membership systems that you'll use to build this, you can have tiers within that,
Yep.
right? So like
Mm-hmm.
you're not in multiple places doing multiple things. You're so focused on the community. And then
Right.
you just determine, all right, people at this level get access to this. People at this level get access to this. People at this level get access to this. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trust me, this is relevant. I was down a TikTok rabbit hole last night. Don't tell anybody, except I just told
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And I had a woman come across my page, and it's lessons in leadership from a dominatrix. And I was like, oh. And her message was access to me is a privilege. And that was something that I learned in my very early 20s, going through a pretty traumatic experience with my own family and my father. Someone said to me, access is a privilege. And I think that's actually a revolutionary concept for women who have been trained that we have to give ourselves away, that we need to just continue to have like anybody can access me at all times. There's a lot of self protection that gets lost in that. And one of the things I've heard multiple times, actually this week in my discovery calls, is women saying, I'm very private and I don't feel comfortable putting myself out there for free on the internet. Like, I don't want people to know that I've got kids. I don't want my ex to find me or see me. Even this morning, I had to delete some really shitty comments on Facebook from men on a video that I had. I put my podcast up there.
I wouldn't delete them. I wouldn't delete them.
Oh, I'm not. I
We'll
can't.
talk
I
about it in a
can't do
minute,
the
but keep going.
toxicity.
I don't want to take you away from the point that you're making, but we'll come back to that.
I'm not here for the toxicity. They can F off.
Hmm.
But so I think that that's another really beautiful thing about your own private membership is you create your own safe space for yourself, but also for your members. You heavily curate it. You get to gate the access. And I love this idea of having a free membership where the first thing people have to do is basically identify themselves. And if they're cool or not, like what is their favorite
Right.
movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of safety in that. I think that access is a privilege. And I think that we can all learn that lesson and enact it
Mhm.
and build it into, especially us as women, our feminine business models, so that when we move forward in our business, as our business grows, we've already built in that feminine container of, protection,
Mhm.
providership, abundance coming in, attracting the right people, building your own kind of marketing platform that you're building that know, like, and trust where people pay you more in the future. But I digress. What were you
Mhm.
going to say about my Facebook comments?
Okay, so two important things that I want to piggyback on.
Okay.
Number one, if you know me and you do, I think that you would agree that think I would definitely agree that there's a lot that we can learn from a dominatrix um, in both business and personal life.
Amen.
We'll stop at that. And the second thing is about negative comments on social media. Um, the reason that I would never delete them and I let them live is because usually what happens is somebody in your tribe comes to your defense. It says, "Hey, asshole, get out of here. Don't talk about her that way." The
Right.
other thing that I think is important, and I know it's kind of like, I don't want it to be like, oh, let's be martyrs for our community. I don't mean that. But like, I want everybody to realize that I get shitty YouTube comments too. I get awful Facebook comments as well. I just learned to not care. Like, the moment that we go down the trap of giving a shit what people comment on social media, and I think that the people that comment, they're outing themselves,
Oh, that's definitely true.
right?
That's definitely true.
This is,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's no it has no personal relevance to you, has
Yeah.
no personal relevance to me. Go
Mm.
ahead, out yourself. Because I don't know, like, look, I don't spend time. Like, when's the last time you went on and made a comment on a YouTube video, a negative comment on a YouTube video?
I don't think I've actually ever made a negative comment.
Right, because
Yeah.
you're a normal, decent person, as
Thank
am
you.
I. If I
Thank
don't
you.
say negative stuff
Right.
publicly on the internet because I care about number one, being a good person,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So let them out themselves
You
and let
know,
everyone else see that this happens to me too.
right.
Not just,
Oh,
it's not just you, it's not just my community. So when I can't tell my clients, put yourself out there and ignore comments if I'm not doing the same thing, if I'm not willing to take that brunt too, you
yeah.
know. So that's it. I'll get off the soapbox about that, but basically I think that it's, hey, don't give a shit what people on the internet have to say.
I definitely see the value in that. And I don't think it's like, it was these people they were clearly who they are. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of research in my doctoral program around social media and the detrimental effects on women's mental health, actually.
Hmm.
And it's one of the reasons why I have a touchy relationship with social media largely. I love my YouTube for sure. But I have a touchy relationship with it because it does become toxic. And I think women tend to be more emotionally attuned. Not that men can't be, obviously they can, but it's
Sure.
ingrained in a feminine psyche to be emotionally attuned. We are the emotional calibrators of our relationships, our families, our communities. That old saying, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Well, that is actually true.
Yeah.
Statistically
Yeah.
and research speaking, the women have to be happy in this community for anybody else to have a chance. I think personally, I'm going to keep deleting negative comments. I don't need that energy in the world. And it's not
I,
because
yeah.
I'm taking it personally. It's because I just don't believe that that kind of negativity needs to live anywhere.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that my way is definitely the way, that everybody should go. If
Yeah.
it honestly, if it makes you feel better,
Yeah.
delete it, and you don't want to see that negativity, then by all means,
I think
delete.
you have a valid reason for it too. I can
Yeah.
definitely see like, it's got to be to your comfort level. And ladies,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
And yeah.
a great way to not be on social media and still reach an audience, memberships,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's your safe space to share, and there's your safe space to curate, and there's your safe space to, you know, bring your gifts out into the world. And it's so easy to create memberships these days. And, they're kind of the first low lift, easiest way for women with magic and something to offer to do it.
I think that it's the future that we can see right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
is memberships because I can tell you, like, as we've discussed before, websites are not dying. They're dead. They're useless.
Yeah, they're
It's
dead.
um it's not needed. And we're starting to see the same thing with funnels, right? We're starting to see that
Really?
they don't capture the way that they used to, right?
Yeah.
It's not that ecosystem that it used to be. And what's replacing it? What's replacing it is two things: social media and
Yes.
memberships, private
Exactly.
memberships, groups, private groups. That's what's turning into like replacing the funnels.
Yeah, this is, actually, let's stay here for a second because this is a really important point. You and I, I love that we do these lives because Aaron, you and I talk every day and sometimes like for hours working on all this. And some of the things we say, like people need to hear it. And this is a really important point because there still is this sort of
Mm.
lingering mythology of the website that if you start a business, the first thing you need is a website. That's absolutely not true. When was the last time you actually went to somebody's website on your phone? You're not going to websites, you're going to apps. You're
Right.
participating with people through apps. And guess what a membership is? It usually
Mhm.
lives on an app. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's literally the first thing anybody should be doing when creating a business. Don't worry about the website. Nobody cares about the website. They're glorified brochures anymore. Yes, you can build one. It's easy to put up a page or two that directs people to your membership. We whose website were we on recently? I seem to remember going onto someone's website and that's all it did. The homepage, all it was the customer journey funnel of like start here, go here, go here, go here, go here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and it was I think yeah. Anyway, do you remember who it was?
I well, I don't because I see it all the time
Yeah,
where like I see that people are realizing, why am I creating an about us page and a contact us page and like a home
right,
page and all this stuff? Like the very first thing that you should have is a discovery call page with your calendar on it so people can book a call with you,
right.
right? You start with the thing that you want them to do
Yeah,
and then you work back from there. And
right.
eventually, when you get all of the most important stuff done, you might end up at, okay, it's time to build a website. But just replace the word website with business card, and absolutely nothing changes. So when you hear somebody say, I need to start a website, it's the exact same thing as saying, I
I
need a
need a
business
business
card.
card.
Same
Nobody
thing.
needs a business card anymore.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
last time I was out with somebody, in that capacity and like wanting to exchange what used to be exchanging business cards.
Hmm.
She held up her phone and like tapped it to mine. And all of a sudden I got this little like digital thing with the link to her app.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, wow, welcome to the future.
Right?
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty
And
rad.
too, like who of us wants to take phone calls
Zero of
from
us.
people we don't know?
Zero people.
Right.
None of us
Like
do.
we're living in an age where, listen, I don't know if you know that you've never like left me a voicemail, right?
No,
Yeah, those are sure as shit not going to be listened to.
no.
Like I don't,
Deleted immediately.
yeah, because if
Deleted
you
immediately.
know me, you know, don't leave a voice message because Aaron ain't gonna hear it.
No.
My mother knew that. Don't leave me a voice message.
Yeah, it's true. Text messages, digital interfaces are key. I don't even think you and I talk on the phone, really. It's mostly Zoom,
Yeah, Zoom or FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
Brenda, yay, Brenda, just asked a question. She wants to learn how to do the QR code to the membership. I want to too. I have no idea how this lady did it. Do you know how to do that?
To have a QR code that just links to it's
Yeah.
super simple.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, there we go. Let's demystify that. It's probably like some
Um,
fancy. It's remember Bitly? It's probably like a Bitly kind of thing or a link tree kind of thing, right?
it's easier than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's
I love it when things are easy. Please make
super,
things
super,
easy.
super simple. So let me get into a demo account
Okay.
first because I always have this problem when I show people stuff on mine and then I accidentally expose people's names and client names and stuff like that, and then people freak out. So
Don't do that. Be cool.
let me move
Be
this
cool, honey bunny. What movie is that from?
and um like I don't know all of the lines from Quentin Tarantino movies. I'm I'm a little bit offended.
I mean, look, I know you're mad Quentin Tarantino skills, but
It's
everybody
Pulp
else here may not
Fiction and
know.
it's the restaurant scene.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I have an eyelash doing a thing. Sorry, everybody. Oh, share screen.
All right. So, QR codes. So, the first thing that we want is where do we want to send people to? So, if it's our membership,
Yeah, let's send him to our membership since that's our focus. I mean, we're talking about it and we keep talking about it because all the women that we're working with inside of our Satisfied Success Business Academy, this is like the first thing
mhm,
that they're wanting. This is the first step, the first thing that they want to build. And
sure.
as we are working with them, we're finding that this is actually the best first
Mhm.
step. So that's where we kind of keep chiming on it a little bit because it's
Yeah.
critical. It's critical and it's easy. It's the easiest first step.
So, once you, so the first step is, right, you got to create your domain. Like,
Mhm.
where does it, where are you going to send people to, right?
Right.
Now, I'm in the demo account, and this is so you put in your custom domain down here of where you want to send people to, which is usually going to be like members.myspace.com.
MySpace.
I just like to say MySpace because
Because 2006 called and they want MySpace back.
I want to know who's over 40, like I am.
Oops, me.
So you copy your domain that goes directly to
Your
your
membership.
your group. You know, and the other thing that you can do is you can go in, you can go into groups, click login, open it up over here, and then just copy this right
Right.
here. Like if you want to send them to the discussion board, if you want to send them to learning, right? So you can choose right here. Okay, I want to send them to the learning page, and then you
Yes.
just copy the URL that you have right here. So that's
Right.
step number one. Numero uno, copy that. Next thing that we want to do is go to sites, and then right here we've got Aaron that can't read, and that's quizzes. It
I can't
starts with a
either.
Q, so it's close,
It's
but we
very
want
close.
QR
QR
codes
codes. Oh my
right
God.
here.
Wait a minute. Literally inside of our own system is a way to build a QR code so that we can ditch the old business card and be cool, like in the future. Oh
Absolutely.
my, I didn't even
So
know this,
create
guys.
QR code name. This is going to be my
MySpace.
my space, my community. Learning, right? So I want to send them to my learning, right? And where am I going to send them to? I'm going to send them to a website URL.
Wow.
Bada boom, bada bing.
There you go, Brenda.
Like
Aren't you
that.
glad you asked?
Next, enter the URL that
Yay!
we just copied and hit next. And then we can make it fancy.
Make it fancy. Give me cotton candy.
I'm not good at doing fancy, but I mean, if I was, I mean, the dots and the colors, I would say, make it like a cool orange or something like that
Ooh,
stands out, or like, something like that.
perfect.
Colors, let's do purple. Purple, I think, is
Yeah, we
cooler.
like purple.
Yeah, I like that. So I can do something like that there. And then just mess around. Do what you there's no rules here.
Do what your heart wants.
Throw your logo in, you know?
That's
Send
rad.
me money. Put the money thing in the middle. It's like, here's how you pay me. Join my membership
Oh
area.
my God. I love that.
Uh,
I had and I saw another video the other day where the advice was, what if somebody's asking you to unblock them? Like, let's say you're dating and you decided you're done with this person, and so you block them. And then he was like, just leave at the top of your social profile that it's $500 to unblock. So that when he's stalking you on Instagram, he knows he can just send you $500 and you link to your Venmo. And I thought that was brilliant. $500 to unblock.
that's hilarious.
It was hilarious. You want me to unblock you? $500.
So
All
yeah,
right.
there's all kinds of cool stuff that we can do.
That's
Right?
amazing. Guys, this
Make
is
it
our
fancy.
system. This is our platform. And look how
I don't want
easy
to
it
save
is.
this. I'm not going to
Huh?
save this because I don't want this to be in this. This is our demo account. So
Okay.
but you just hit save,
Yeah.
and now you've created your QR code and you can share it with the world.
Boom. And you can be cool and living in the future.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and you can create unlimited. So
Wow.
go hog wild, create all the QR codes
Create all the QR codes. But
that
first
you
things
want.
first, create your membership. Because that's really the key, especially the foundation to your thriving, successful, sovereign business. And you can then do, one of the things that I'm getting questions about from the ladies that I work with is what do I do? Right? I actually had an email last night from a woman who said, I've got a really great idea, but I don't
Mhm.
know what to do. I don't know what to do in my membership. And I I emailed her back and I said, you can literally do anything. Like, this is your show. If you feel most comfortable showing up live, commit to going live once a week in your membership. If you
Yeah.
want to drop 15-minute truth bomb lectures, put that in your membership. If you want to commit to posting every day some sort of journal prompt because that's what you
Mhm.
believe in, that's what you put in your membership. A membership space is for you to share your magic in the most authentic way possible. And the more
Yeah.
that you can do that, and the more, again, it's the commitment and the showing up that are key.
Mhm.
And when you do it regularly with your people, they rely on you. They get into the culture that you're creating. They thrive on what you're providing, and that's really the key. But that showing up piece and doing the things that you're really good at is exactly what you're supposed to be doing in your membership. And there's room for everything. There are memberships for everything. So don't think you have to be like somebody else's membership. Just do what it is that you feel most called to do.
Yeah, and I think a good thing, and I like to reflect on this all the time because it's actually it's been on my mind like the entire time that I've been consulting, that I was doing ads, I was creating, helping people with funnels. I always think back to the time that I knew nothing. So yesterday, and no, I'm kidding. So, um, in so I started out when I very first started doing stuff online. I started on eBay,
Right.
selling physical stuff, right?
Me
Obviously,
too.
and and then I realized, I'm paying eBay a lot of money, and if I just had my own website, like I could not pay them, and I could probably do a lot better if I had a website.
Right.
So I figured out, how to build a website. Well, it didn't occur to me until I spent tens of hundreds of hours building my website
Yeah.
Said, oh shit, I need traffic. Like what does eBay have? Eyes
Traffic.
on my product, right?
Yep. Yep.
So now I had to go down this rabbit hole of how do I get traffic to my website? And I made all the mistakes and I wasted money, I wasted time, and it wasn't for like a year down the road before I discovered Yahoo search marketing and I'm like, "Oh my God, people are searching for stuff and I could just show up." Like how cool is that? Right? And so I always think about, ever since I started consulting and doing all this stuff,
Yeah.
I think about myself back in 1999, right?
Baby
And
Aaron.
how would I help myself? What are the things that I would teach me back then that I needed to know?
Yeah.
And that's what I always go back to, is just thinking, where did I start? What would have helped me? What would I have liked someone to show me
Yeah.
or tell me about that I
Yep.
needed to learn back then?
Yeah, which is exactly what we're doing here, guys. We have gone through all of the hot messes, made all of the mistakes, wasted all of the dollars, and we're pouring all of that knowledge in here right for you. I actually started on eBay as well back in 2001. I sold half of everything I owned on eBay, including skis. I shipped a pair of skis to Minnesota. I sold my grandmother's china in order to make the money I needed to go to my very first yoga teacher training in New York. It was nuts. Oh, the good old days. But we're trying to help you not make those mistakes, not waste the money, certainly not waste the time. Um, you know, when I built my business the first time, and I keep citing that because that was when I was so green and didn't have the knowledge, and that's where I imagine many of our people inside of our Satisfied
Mhm.
Success Business Academy are. I had this idea that if you build it, they will come. Because I had
Mhm.
great knowledge. I had something incredible to share, and I created
Right.
incredible programs. And that was true, but I built it and they didn't come. Turns out it's only if you build it and then market the shit out of it that they actually
Yeah,
come. So it was the marketing piece
exactly.
that I had to learn. And
Yeah.
you're right, like the traffic, the marketing. I was super, super late to the game on organic traffic. I wish I had caught that wave
Hmm.
early. I started out mostly with paid ads, pay to play, which is one way to go. But, the value of organic traffic comes with things like social media. I'm a big fan of podcasts. I've been podcasting since 2005. So, what are some of the ways that we can offer our ladies to think about generating traffic?
Well, I think that, first of all, kind of step back and realize that you can choose the vehicle to which you want to spread your message. Because
Yeah,
what are we doing with, and it doesn't matter whether it's paid ads or social, what we're doing is we're sharing a message, right? We're
correct.
sharing our message, trying to get as many people to see it as possible. And hopefully we're targeting it to the type of people that we want to work with,
Yeah,
right?
yep,
So, first of all, almost nothing has changed in like the last 100 years when it comes to marketing. So don't focus on like an example, um, billboard ads, right? The big billboard ads that you see on the highway,
yeah,
right? Conceptually, like that is the same thing as what? Display ads, right?
right.
If you create display ads that show all over websites on the internet, you're doing the exact same thing. So realize like the the vehicles have changed, but it's the same thing,
It's the
right?
same thing. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So social media, right? In some ways, this is just like a billboard ad, right? You're just trying to get as many eyeballs on it as possible,
right.
but strategically, right? We want the right eye. We can't help everybody. We only want the people that we can help to see it. So
Correct.
that's why we do stuff like call outs. That's why we say stuff like, I help people do X
Yeah.
without having to suffer through Y. You're
It's
being very
critical to have
specific.
clarity of message.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
This is one of the
So,
things I coach women on all the time. It's getting really, really clear about the message. Women are often trained that like we just need to be able to help everybody. but that waters down the message. And that
Mhm.
training comes from the perception that our value only lies in how much we give ourselves away or do for others. That's got to stop. We have specialties, we have a certain kind of magic, we have a certain kind of person that we can help the best. And the more
Mhm.
clear we are on the message about how we can help them, how we can serve them, how we can transform them, the better. And I also don't encourage any of my clients to utilize all forms of social media. I really, really encourage them to find the platform, maybe two, but definitely just one that is more in alignment with the kind of thing that you do and the kind of message that you have, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, my business has never really been a visual business. I don't have beautiful images. I'm not creating beautiful artwork. So Instagram isn't really my place. My business isn't necessarily just for professionals. So I'm not really on LinkedIn. I do well when I can talk to people, share with them, give them bodies of knowledge that last for more than 30 seconds. So I
Right.
love YouTube for that. I love podcasting for that. Places where we can actually dig in and create real, like, grounded, foundational, transformative work. So I recommend the same thing for our people, for our women, that you don't have to overwhelm yourself with all the platforms to generate traffic. Find the one that works for you and go for it.
Yeah. Pick your car. Think of it like that. When you're choosing like a platform, think about it as you choose your vehicle. What are
Right.
you most comfortable driving?
Jeep Wrangler.
Right? How are you gonna, what's your what's how do you like to drive? Do you like to go fast? Do you like to go slow? Is it more about comfort or is it more
Right.
about power, right? Do you want to feel the engine underneath you? Do you want to be a little bit scared? And, do you enjoy the rush of everything? Then maybe
Mhm.
Snapchat is for you. If you like to be comfortable and kind of in your own space, then yeah, maybe it's YouTube.
Brenda is sharing. She's echoing my sentiments. She's like, I struggle. I really struggle to convey anything with any depth in 60-second sound bites. Yeah, me too. I just feel like what I have to talk about needs some greater clarity and conversation. So I have a really hard time with the sound bitey things on Facebook. What are they called? Reels, the shorts, or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I tried to create a couple of shorts from my podcasts, and it's like I've only said half of what I meant to say. And if they don't get the rest of that sentence, it just doesn't quite hit.
So I think that this is an important. I think this is what we all naturally do, and this is what we also have to get away from. Okay, we're not trying, and when we're making a post or creating content, let's get away with trying to solve all of the problems that someone's going through.
Yeah,
Just think of the problem that most of your community is experiencing. Now break it down, right?
yeah,
Get to a very specific problem with a
granular.
hyper specific solution
Yeah.
and just focus on that. Because if you do that, what you'll find is actually in 3 sentences, I can help somebody to solve this, right? So just break it down and just try to solve a little result for someone.
I appreciate your vote of confidence that it's possible to help someone in 3 sentences or less. I'm not sure I have that superpower.
Did you
Maybe,
know?
maybe that's a feminine thing.
Did you know that you can create a QR code in 30 seconds
Well, that's like a
and
teaser.
broadcast it with the world? But
Yeah.
it's not a teaser. Think about that there are people that are literally sitting at their desk. "Oh, I need a QR code. I have no
Yeah.
idea where to start." And now you just told them.
I'm pretty sure we did that in like 90 seconds or less for everybody. So,
Exactly. Like,
yeah.
so we forget, right? We forget how easy because we're used to it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Try to put ourselves in the position again of where was I
Of your
20
beginner.
years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
really, it's funny. I had a wonderful text from a coaching client yesterday. She's figuring out what she wants to offer in her membership. She's been doing shamanic work for 20 years. She's from South America originally. She wants to bring that forward in her membership. I am loving this for her and her community. And we're trying to get clear on her messaging and how she wants to talk to people. And I said, look, just talk to your friends, the people who love what you do, who are already coming to your women's circles. Ask them what they get out of it. Do like almost your own little market research. And she sent me the most brilliant text last night where she said, you know what? I asked a few friends, and what I realized is really I'm building this membership for myself 5 years ago. And I said, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. You're talking to the woman that you were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years
Mhm.
ago, the woman who would have escaped so much challenge, hardship, if only she had known. Whatever it is you're about to tell her, you could
Yeah.
have made her life easier, but you're going to do that for every woman who comes after you now. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. And nothing works as well as helping. Like, if you want to build a giant community, help people solve little problems.
Yeah.
That's how you bring them in,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, exactly.
You demonstrate that you can help people by actually helping them. If you solve one little thing, like how do I create a QR code?
I know. I
Right?
literally
One
just took a deep
tiny little
breath
thing.
because the idea of just being
Mhm.
helped is such a balm to, I'm sure not just my soul, but to every woman
Mhm.
watching. So, I think we're gonna wrap it up ish here, right? If you want, but I don't want to end without saying that we're really grateful to be able to do this work. And we're here for this work. We're so excited to be able to actually help women bring their work into the world in a sovereign way, in a way that doesn't burn them out, that doesn't affirm the overwhelm. We've been very thoughtful and intentional about creating this system, this membership, this support, this live broadcast, and we're walking the talk. So thank you everybody for being here.
Yeah, and I will delete negative comments that people leave on this video. Let's from that. I know I said earlier that I don't, but maybe I will.
We are just not here for that negativity.
You
Positive
never
love
know.
vibes
Hey, listen,
everywhere.
you never know with me. I might delete it. I might let it.
You never know.
You're
All right,
playing Russian roulette.
let's radiate positivity and make the world a better place, everybody. That's definitely our vibes.
That's the best way to end it. Love it.
Absolutely. All
All
right,
right.
everybody, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Cheers.